the question of what is the music of the moment became increasingly important and became the dominant question, and it was less about making music and more about listening. So I developed a listening practice, and that is about being very present in a place and a time. I would go for a daily walk, and I would have an hour or two just out exploring in the gardens or around the city. And I think recording sounds and being very tuned into the audio environment was a really interesting way of connecting with a place I was very familiar with, but discovering a lot of new things about it. And I also record sounds around the city as well, and I create sound design works that become the starting point for the poem. The listening practice I've developed here at Randell Cottage is a really groundbreaking addition to my process, and it's one that has been incredibly rich and generative, and I see it as continuing to be a really integral part of my work going forward. And I'm particularly excited to keep growing and expanding it. One of the longer narrative poems is called Body to Soul, or I should say it's called Soul to Body, but it is inspired by the sculpture in the Botanic Gardens by Mary Louise Brown called Body to Soul. The sculpture Body to Soul is this wonderful granite staircase that begins with body, and there are 8 steps up leading to a sort of sky doorway. It's a very interactive sculpture, and it's also quite a poetic and cerebral sculpture as well. I'm always interested in creating an experience for the reader, not so much about imparting a message or a story. It's very much, my interest is very much in more co-creation. So I wanted to allow the reader to contribute to the movement and sense of rhythm of the piece, and in a way sort of collaborate a bit on the meaning. From there, I developed a piece called Soul to Body, the devotional papers of the Hopeful 8. Needless to say, I was a trusting servant of 2 to 3 records at the most, leaning into the verifiable, countable carbon copies of my heart and mind and finding felicitous mirroring. One of the really wonderful things about doing the residency is it has given me an opportunity to create different routines and explore different working processes. And one thing I have developed actually is a solitude practice. Finding ways to push through the noise and get to those places where I can really hear what the question is. This project was very much about an inquiry into our individual voice, but how that is shaped in chorus with others, and how that also asks us to contemplate questions of accountability. One of the really profound elements of the residency has been being present in a different location, and exploring and living in a different context. And I've just made, I think, some extraordinary leaps and developments in my practice. It has afforded me just an incredible opportunity to be a full creative person and to throw myself fully into a very expanded and rich process, and to integrate new approaches, both at the level of practice and imagination and yeah, it's just been such a pleasure to be present with the music of Randell Cottage.